This week is the big one. We're talking pretty much everything that's orange or white except for the cab. Yep, this week we're talking body. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I am Josh with Premier Truck Sales and Rental. Thanks for joining me again this week. This week, we are talking about the body of this behemoth here. We're gonna start up front, work our way to the back, yeah, that's the way I always do it, isn't it? So nonetheless, this has a Corrado can on the front of it, which is one of the most versatile pieces of equipment that you're probably ever gonna find out there. There are so many different ways to move garbage from curbside into the body of the truck, or even if it's in a dumpster. So that's one of the first things that we're going to talk about with here. Now, because of the way the controls are set up in the cab with the right-hand side controls and the left-hand side controls, you can run this truck with just one operator. One of the ways that it makes it so easy for you to do stuff one person is this can grab anywhere from a 32 to a 96 gallon can right off the curb. This arm will extend out a fair bit further. That way you can get over, you can get the can, grab it, and dump it in this hopper here. Now this hopper has a 4.6 cubic yard capacity. You can get a lot of cans in there before you need to dump it. One of the other things with this is the cycle time on this is said to be less than 5 seconds from the time you reach out, grab the can, toss it in, and have the can back on the curb. You add up a few seconds, a couple of hundred times a day, that makes a huge difference in how much time you're running, how much time your driver's out on the road, and how much fuel you're using. That versatility in itself of being able to have one person operate this machine is huge. Now, the next part that we have with this is, let's say someone doesn't have a container. This is easily able to have someone throw the refuse into the hopper up front here. It's not that high. This rubber will move down a little bit so that way you can get that in. So if someone's got a can and a few garbage bags, it's easy to hop out of the truck, come over, pick them up, and throw them in the can. Once again, super simple, super easy, super fast, and you only need one person on the truck at a time for this. Another big advantage that we have with the Corrado can out front here is that the driver's looking forward. Not only is that safer, but it's also easier on the driver. Driver can look forward, sees the can, knows what they're grabbing a hold of. Speaking of knowing what they're grabbing a hold of, the driver's also able to see what the can is dumping into the hopper. That way, you're looking at far fewer prohibited items, making it into the hopper and into the back of the truck. We all have seen it happen. A can slips out of the fingers, ends up in the hopper. Well, when that happens with this, you're at a much lower, much easier level for the driver to be able to go in and grab that can rather than having to climb up a ladder and go out the back. The other part that makes this super versatile is the Corrado cans from us, we have them chained on. There's a clevis back here that if you undo the two clevis pins, you can then set this down, undo the hydraulic connections with it and the electrical connections, drop the container off, and now you can use these forks to go pick up dumpsters. So one of the things that makes that super simple in pulling the Corrado can off is the fact that it only uses two hydraulic connections. When you look, you've got the hydraulics for the fingers, you've got hydraulics to turn it, you've got hydraulics for the arm to come out and come back. There's a lot of separate cylinders here. What they did in this is they have a feed and a return with its own separate hydraulic module here. Hydraulics are difficult to sometimes disconnect and reconnect. Electronics are not. So there's only two hydraulic connections and there's 3 small electrical connections back here. That's all you need to do in order to pull those off. Super simple, super easy. Once again, it adds to that versatility that we're talking about. So let's go over this once again. You've got 32 to 96 gallon cans, easily grabbable with the fingers, you can put in the dumpster. On top of that, especially in the stand-up models, it's easy ingress and regress. So that way, if you've got bags at the side here, now you can throw bags in there. There's 2 different ways to get refuse off the roadside into the container. On top of that, third thing we've got, this comes apart with 2 clevis pins, drop the container off, 2 hydraulic connections, 3 electrical connections, drop the container. Now you can go out and pick up dumpsters. This is genius. Something else that I'd like to make note of with this is sometimes you run out of daylight before you run out of work to do. That being said, we realize that the Corrado can is going to block these headlights. There's a set right up front there that are meant for low speed use, like when you're going to be having the can out front with an operator over here. On top of that, just to make sure you know what's going into the can and you know what's going on, there's lights mounted to the roof of the cab with a nice light bar if you want to even add more. Either way, there's the lighting available so you can see exactly what's going on and you know exactly what's going in that can and going on in front of it. So guys, as we go from the can back to the arms that move it around, there's a lot of great things even in these arms to help you out. First off, I know I mentioned before, there's the guides in the bumper to make sure everything stays stable, and it does. There's really not any movement here. On top of this, we've got all zinc coated lines in order to ensure that you're not going to have any corrosion issues down the road. Where the lines are through the arms, it's got a metal cover over it. We know these trucks, durability is a huge issue. So making sure that you're not going to have a hydraulic leak is a big part of that. The arms are braced throughout in order to make sure that you've got strength throughout where you need it and at those points where the arms need it the most. And you're not going to sacrifice weight with that. Something that's always a concern too for drivers is smashing into the canopy or smashing into other items. There are proximity sensors located throughout in order to make sure that's not an issue. The canopy is a lightweight setup and it's air operated to lift. As soon as that thing lifts, these arms are disabled. When you go to pull the can back, it's set up so it won't hit the canopy. It's just making sure that stuff is done right so that way you don't have to worry about it. I mentioned them with the interior, but it's worth mentioning again. The Odyssey joystick controls here give you just fingertip controls of everything that's going on with the truck. Top that off with the Packer controls and other items here. It's a super easy system to use. That ease also makes it very safe. The fact that with the Corrado can out front here, I can be eyes forward, I know exactly what's going on. The fact that this is electric over hydraulic, once again, makes it super easy and sensitive to operate. That way, you have complete control. Additionally, Heil has their Insight display up here, which can be rotated to be seen from either side of the truck, depending on where you're operating it from. This display has body information. It allows you to figure out what you need to know about the body in terms of packer position, other items like that. On top of that, there are multiple cameras integrated with this system, whether you need to see in the compactor, whether you need to see what position the can's at over top the truck, whether you need it as a backup camera. All those items can be accessed and seen here. Super easy to use, and once again, added safety. It allows you to, with a quick glance, to see all the things that you need to see. In that front to back order, we've done the Corrado can, so let's talk about the body. This body is a Heil 40-yard half-pack body. Now, they offer a 1-year, 1,000-hour warranty on this body. Premier, we extend that to a 2-year, 4,000-hour warranty on the body, and that's both parts and labor. The Infinity Packer cylinders, those are covered for 5 years. So you know you're covered with a quality product in this. Now, there are a lot of great added touches on this to make sure that we're going to get the durability and everything else that we need out of this. Now, one of the things is these are hardened scrapers on the cylinders, whether it be here or up front, which those are going to help get rid of any debris, trash, anything like that, and save these seals in here so that way they're not going to wear out. We realize downtime costs more than the downtime itself. On top of it, we've got just a simple feature that's there to keep drivers happy. The sump drains here, that drains out with a hose underneath away from your feet. There's nothing worse than having wet, garbagey feet for your entire shift. We've got it set up so that way it drains down and away from it. Next up is safety interlock. So stuff like the door by the compactor here, that has a proximity switch to it. It's adjustable. These are these safety items to make sure that nothing goes wrong with these trucks. It's all about operating efficiently and safe with them. In addition, inside, the tracks are raised up off the floor so that way they don't collect as much garbage. We've got them C-channeled into the sides so that way it's not in the bottom collecting stuff, getting in the way of the compactor moving forward. Once again, it's about saving wear and tear, it's about reducing friction, and it's about making sure that you get the longevity that you want out of the operation of this truck. The features on this truck extend all the way to the back. Here we have the Heil Sherlock tailgate locks. It's a positive locking engagement that is also shielded from debris, making sure that you're not having to constantly come back here and clean those out. Once again, that's added safety, added convenience, added efficiency. In this, you can see the prop rod bars here for the tailgate. We've got a nice ladder back here, and reverse lights are typically just to signal that you're going to be backing. Unfortunately, they leave a lot to be desired in terms of the amount of light that they put out for safety. That being the case, we've got two really bright LED spotlights up there to make sure that if you're backing up, you know exactly what's behind you. And you can see it in that camera right there. So that's the end of our tour of the Mack residential front loader. In this, I hope I was able to show you how versatile these trucks are and how they can make your operation safer and, most of all, more efficient, guaranteeing you that better return on investment. On top of that, the things that are done here at Premier to help you experience the Premier difference and make sure that, once again, you get that return on investment. I ask that you press the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, because we have some more great trucks that we're ready to show off. If you've got a question, do me a favor, put that in the comments below, as we'd love to hear from you. If you like this, give us the thumbs up, and as always, stay safe out there.